When we think of the sci-fi films that redefined the genre, some usual examples come to mind. 2001: A Space Odyssey, Interstellar, Terminator 2: Judgment Day, E.T., Close Encounters of the Third Kind. However, throughout history, several influential sci-fi movies have simply gone under the radar. They influenced several filmmakers and redefined the genre. But over a period of time, we eventually forgot them. In this video, we are going to talk about 8 forgotten British sci-fi movies from the 1960s that helped in redefining the sci-fi genre itself. Alright folks, without wasting any more time, let's jump right in. The Damned, 1962. Directed by Joseph Losey and starring MacDonald Carey, Shirley Ann Field, and Oliver Reed, The Damned is about a middle-aged American divorced man named Simon Wells who goes on a vacation in the town of Weymouth, England. There, he meets a young girl, about 20 years old, named Joan. He seems to be getting along with her, and then her brother King and his biker gang arrive on the scene. They beat Simon up and rob him. As it turns out, the trap was set up by Joan as she lured him into getting robbed by her brother. Later on, she tries to apologize to Simon and he forgives her. Meanwhile, King and his gang approach them. His life is in jeopardy. As he is about to leave, he asks Joan to join him, and she does. Joan always wanted to escape the clutches of her brother, who is extremely toxic and problematic. He can't bear her with other men. And incest also has something to do with that. In order to escape from King and his biker gang, Simon and Joan enter a military base run by a scientist named Bernard. There, they see a group of 11 children. They all seem educated and well-dressed. They also seem like someone is adequately taking care of them, but they are clearly isolated from the rest of the outside world. Their skin also feels cold to the touch. One of them believes that they are in a spaceship and about to populate and colonize a distant planet. As it turns out, they are radioactive children. They live in the underground part of Bernard's military base. They host Simon, Joan, and King in a secret room where they smuggle food to them. However, Simon, Joan, and King start feeling unwell because of radiation sickness due to living in the proximity of radioactive children. Bernard's plan is to release the children during the inevitable nuclear fallout, as he believes the children will be able to resist and survive the fallout, and the human race will continue. Although it's a science fiction movie with elements of horror, it reflects the fears of the Cold War era quite accurately. It's a weird, haunting, surreal, and atmospheric movie that can make your jaw drop. Definitely check this out.
Dr. David.
Unearthly Stranger, 1963. Directed by John Krish and starring John Neville and Gabriella Licciudi in the lead roles, Unearthly Stranger is about a scientist named Dr. Mark Davidson who works for the government. He is afraid for his life, as he doesn't want to encounter the same fate as the scientist who was in his current position before his death. After making a major scientific discovery, he died under mysterious circumstances. The cause of his death is kept as a secret by a Secret Service agent, Major Clark. Mark is married to a Swiss woman named Julie. Julie is a very strange woman, and Mark suspects that she might be an alien. She sleeps with her eyes open without blinking. She can hold extremely hot objects with her bare hands without flinching. By doing a background check on her, Clark gets to know that before meeting Mark, her life didn't exist anywhere on the records. Later on in the movie, Clark also dies under mysterious circumstances, and Julie admits to Mark that she is an alien who was sent to kill him, but she is not able to do that as she has fallen in love with him, and the rest of the story follows from there. This movie has very similar vibes to another haunting and atmospheric movie from 1978, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. So if you are a fan of that Philip Kaufman movie, you would definitely enjoy this one. It's one of those sci-fi flicks that will stay with you long after it ends, especially due to that shocking ending. The Earth Dies Screaming, 1964. The next one we have on the list is a zombie movie with science fiction and horror elements. This movie has zombies as well as an alien invasion, and it's only an hour long. The Earth Dies Screaming is directed by Terrence Fisher, and it stars Williard Parker, Virginia Field, and Dennis Price in the lead roles. It starts by portraying the immediate aftermath of a devastating tragedy in a village in England, and we can see a lot of dead human bodies lying around. A mysterious gas attack has killed most of the human population on planet Earth. We also see weird and slow-moving figures in spacesuits moving around. They can transform people into one of their zombies by just touching them. A group of survivors, led by an American jet test pilot named Jeff Nolan, team up to fight and survive against all odds. Without wasting a lot of time with the exposition, the movie gets straight to the point, right from the beginning. It creates a sense of paranoia and atmosphere throughout its runtime, and I think George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead fans would genuinely enjoy this little gem of a film. Nightcaller from Outer Space, 1965. This movie has a very outlandish plot. Nightcaller from Outer Space has John Saxon, Maurice Denham, and Patricia Haynes in the lead roles. In this movie, directed by John Gilling, a bunch of aliens from the moon of Jupiter called Ganymede invade Earth to kidnap women as they want to use them for breeding with their fellow aliens. Dr. Morley and Dr. Jack Costain detect an object from space that's coming towards Earth. When it reaches Earth in the British countryside, both of them set out to investigate the matter. They take the object with them to the lab. While they are investigating to find out what's really going on, the creature escapes from the lab, and then a lot of teenage girls begin to go missing. As it turns out, the aliens that came to Earth are abducting girls from planet Earth for the purpose of breeding. They want to prevent themselves from going extinct. It's a black and white, dialogue-heavy, and entertaining science fiction movie with a very creative and interesting plot. Don't miss it at any cost. Invasion, 1966. Made on a low budget with a very clever plot, this movie simply rules. Invasion is directed by Alan Bridges, and it stars Edward Judd and Yoko Tani in the lead roles. Roger Marshall wrote the script for the movie, which in turn was based on a story by Robert Holmes. At the beginning of this movie, a man named Lawrence Blackburn is driving home at night. He hits a man who is quite strangely dressed. He takes him to a hospital where the blood tests reveal that he is something other than a human being. Lawrence Blackburn reaches home, and there he dies of a heart attack when he sees two women who are similarly dressed to the man whom he hit while he was driving home. In the meantime, the hospital in which the strangely dressed man was brought in gets surrounded by a force field. After waking up, the injured man reveals that he is a Listrian, and he crashed while he was taking two prisoners to another planet. But later on, the two Listrian women, whom Lawrence saw before dying, reveal that the injured man himself is the prisoner, and they are his escorts. Although this film doesn't have a big budget, it has certain elements that would entertain you in a different way. Despite the alien invasion, people in the movie try to deal with the crisis by moving on and dealing with their day-to-day realities, as much as they possibly can, which adds a sense of realism to the film. With an economic duration of 1 hour and 22 minutes, this sci-fi flick is bound to entertain you. They Came from Beyond Space, 1967. Milton Subotsky wrote the script for this movie based on the novel The Gods Hate Kansas, which in turn was written by Joseph Millard. Another under-the-radar British sci-fi flick from the 1960s, Freddie Francis was the director of They Came from Beyond Space, and it starred Robert Hutton, Jennifer Jane, Zia Moyedin, and Bernard Kay. It starts with a bunch of meteors landing in a perfect formation in the rural part of England. This event gets the attention of the government scientists who want to investigate further. Dr. Curtis Temple wants to enter the meteor landing zone, but he is not allowed to do so because of the fact that he has a metal plate placed in his skull due to an accident that he is still recovering from. His girlfriend Lee Mason is sent to investigate the zone where the rocks landed. One of the scientists in the group makes an attempt to break open one of the rocks, and in that process, light emits from that rock, and the scientists get possessed by aliens. Under the influence of the aliens, they start building a compound from where they can launch a rocket to the moon. Curtis tries to enter the zone, but he is prohibited by his girlfriend Lee. Later on in the movie, things get really interesting when Curtis realizes that the metal plate placed in his skull prevents the aliens from possessing him. And the rest of the story follows from there. No need to take anything seriously. Just revel in the madness of the movie and see Dr. Curtis driving around the English countryside, contemplating ways to get through the militarized alien landing zone, surrounded by armed soldiers and an electric fence. It's pulpy science fiction in the best way possible. Also, this movie was released as a double feature with The Terrornauts, which we are about to discuss in a moment.
Joe, we must...
The Terrornauts, 1967. The film adaptation of the novel The Wailing Asteroid by Murray Leinster, The Terrornauts was released as a double feature with They Came From Beyond Space in 1967. Montgomery Tully directed it, John Brunner wrote it, Simon Oates and Zena Marshall starred in the lead roles. Initially, the movie's plot centers on a project. It's called Project StarTalk, and its main purpose is to listen to radio signals from outer space. The project is led by a scientist named Dr. Joe Burke. One day, after responding to a mysterious signal from outer space, the team associated with the project gets kidnapped by aliens, and it is taken to a spaceship. The spaceship is inhabited by a bunch of robots, and when the Project StarTalk team reaches there, its members are presented with a series of intelligence tests. The kidnapped scientists attempt to find out why they have been kidnapped in the first place, and they also attempt to find ways to get back to Earth. The movie is full of surprises. It might not have the state-of-the-art special effects and production values of 2001: A Space Odyssey, E.T., or Close Encounters of the Third Kind, but if you are looking for something fun and campy to watch, look no further than this one. Doppelganger, 1969. Alright, this one has an extremely wild plot, for real. Doppelganger is directed by Robert Parrish, and it stars Roy Finnes and Ian Hendry in the lead roles. The movie is set in the future, in the year 2069. In the movie, the Eurosec discovers a planet in the same orbital path as planet Earth that is located on the opposite side of the Sun. After making this discovery, NASA astronaut Colonel Glenn Ross and Eurosec astrophysicist Dr. John Kane are sent on a joint NASA-Eurosec space program to explore the newly discovered planet. When they both reach the planet, their spaceship gets damaged in a crash and Kane gets severely injured. The astronauts are rescued and it seems like they have returned back to Earth. However, here is where the plot gets really weird. Later on, Kane dies from his injuries, and Ross is questioned by Eurosec officials for aborting the mission. When Ross hears that accusation, he gets extremely confused, and then, when he sees that texts everywhere are printed backwards and people are driving on the wrong side of the road, he comes to a stark realization. He didn't actually return to Earth. He is on the newly discovered planet, which basically mirrors planet Earth. And his counterpart from the newly discovered planet is also having similar experiences on the real Earth. So in this movie, there are basically two versions of planet Earth that mirror each other. The movie has a very ambitious plot, because it's not just centered on doppelgangers of individuals. It is centered on the doppelganger of an entire planet. On top of that, the special effects are very good, and the production design of this film is worthy of praise as well. This is a great movie that you should have on your watch list. The world of science fiction cinema is extremely rich and diverse. The possibilities for creative imagination in this genre are endless. Throughout the history of cinema, sci-fi has been combined with multiple other genres with great results. Comedy, drama, action, horror, adventure, and superhero. It doesn't just keep reinventing itself at every step, it has reinvented cinema in general. An influential science fiction movie brings new innovations to the medium of cinema. We hope that we have given you a big enough list of movies that would keep you occupied for several days. And here is where we sign off. We hope you enjoyed our video. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Take care, and stay tuned. We will be back soon with our next video.